Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and we're talking about leasing on and finding the perfect setup for your trucking business. Whether you're an experienced carrier or a leased-on owner-operator looking to broaden your horizons, finding the right lease-on opportunity can basically make or break you and would certainly have a major, significant impact on the success or failure, the ultimate success or failure of your trucking business. So join us as we explore, look into some practical tips, insights that help you make the very best decisions, make the very best choices for your trucking company. Now let's talk about the importance of lease-on operations. In today's competitive trucking industry, lease-on opportunities provide a valuable alternative for carriers and owner-operators. They offer access to established customer networks, reduced administrative burdens, and a chance to focus on the road ahead while someone else handles the back-end logistics. So you heard that right, guys. One of the benefits of being a leased-on owner-operator is that you don't have to run an actual trucking company. Now, you still have to abide by all the rules and regulations set forth by DOT, the FMCSA. You have to still go by the regulations under the FMCSR. Absolutely, you're still a professional truck driver, but the monotony, the expense, the high liability, and especially when you're new, the difficulty of scaling those barriers to entry that are set up in place and very difficult, especially your first year as a carrier, you won't have to deal with any of those things, and the carrier that you lease under as a lease-on owner-operator would be handling all of that for you. Now, what's also important is the ability to assess not only your goals, but also your needs. Before diving into lease-on options, it's crucial to assess your unique needs and goals. Take some time to evaluate your current business setup, your financial objectives, and the type of support that you require, whether you're looking for low-cost basic programs or high-growth dispatchers. Understanding your priorities will help you find the perfect fit. The next thing you should be doing is researching the different types of lease-on opportunities that are available there so that you're able to compare them apples to apples. Now comes the exciting part: researching different lease-on programs, exploring reputable carriers with a track record of providing excellent support and fair compensation to their lease-on partners. You are the lease-on partner, and you have to look into their service offerings. You have to look at their fleet capabilities, their customer base, and the overall reputation within the trucking industry. As you guys know, there are a lot of trucking companies out there who do a really good job in marketing their services, of recruiting, but when you actually arrive and put in some time at the company, once the ink has dried, often right after that, the truth really comes out. Or at the, usually after your settlements come in, you get your first or second check, that's when you actually start to realize that things are not like they were described to me. They're not as they were promised to me. So once you think that you have settled on a company, maybe a couple of companies that you're comparing, make sure to start looking at the fine print. Like, look at the fine print, the contract terms, maybe take it out to an attorney, have them look at it. It's worth the additional cost because you're setting up your business. Remember, it's very important that you plan as much as you possibly can to lower the chances of your business failing and increase the chances of future success. So once you've narrowed down your options, it's time to get into the details. You carefully review the lease contract terms and agreements. As mentioned, take it to an attorney if you have to, maybe take it to a paralegal if it costs less, and make sure to pay attention to essential aspects such as payment structures, fuel surcharge policies, insurance coverage, and maintenance responsibilities. Don't hesitate to ask questions to clarify any uncertainties. It's better to ask the questions and get the answers, even if you feel that, this might be a stupid question. You know what? Let it be a stupid question. This is your future. This is your money. This is your income that we're talking about here. Now, the next thing you want to do is speak with other lease-on partners. So one of the things that we talked about, let me see if I can switch the camera here for you right here. So as you can see, you're not a client, you're a partner. And this is the reason why I continue to refer to you guys as lease-on partners. We're talking about a partnership, and that's how you should feel about that. Because if you want it to be just another number, you could have remained as a company driver, put in your 20, 30 years and hopefully collected a pension, maybe if it's unionized. But we saw, and we continue to see where things are going for folks who took that route. So again, you have to understand, where do you stand? What are your goals? What are your needs? What are your aspirations? Do you want to run, a giant trucking company? Do you want to have lease-on owner operators? Do you want to have company drivers? Or maybe that's none of that is your cup of tea. Maybe, hey, I just want to have a really good company. I can put in my time. I want honest service. I want people, that will work with me. I'll put in the work. I want them to put in the work. Don't overcharge me. Don't nickel and dime me. Don't undercut me. I just want a nice, stable place I can feed my family. A lot of people just want that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Other people might have other aspirations. So you got to figure out where you stand when it comes to that. One way you're going to be able to do that is once you figure out where you stand, which companies you're considering to lease on with, and once you realize that this is truly what you really want to do, then you want to start speaking with the other drivers, right? So one of the best ways to gain insight into a carrier's lease on program is obviously by talking to their current or possibly past lease on partners. If you're able to get a hold of those guys, most companies that they have nothing to hide, they'd be willing to say, hey, you listen, I don't know if anybody's willing to talk to you, but let me talk to my guys. Let me see who's willing to actually take a call. We want to make sure. And then if they're willing to allow you to kind of share numbers or whatnot, then, if they have nothing to hide, if there's nothing that they're concerned about, they're going to get you that number. You're going to be able to spend some time with that driver and really get to the bottom of how they feel they've been treated. How's the program been so far? How long have they been there? What kind of money they're making? You'll have the questions that you'll want to ask them. So definitely reach out to other truckers who have experience working with that particular carrier that you're interested in. Ask about the overall experience, the support that they've received, any challenges that they faced. How did the team take care of them whenever they had those challenges? Like, I'll give you a real example. And, I think you should be seeing things like this. When we had some drivers with, catastrophic failures where there were problems with trucks or they, blown engines, things like that, our guys at A2C, they always stepped in. They either got them behind another truck. Just recently, we had an engine blowout, and one of the trucks that one of the owners was going to use to hit the road gave it to another driver, really, really good driver, and he's going to be driving in that because he needs a truck in order to make money. And not every company is going to be able to do that. In fact, most companies aren't going to do that for you. They're going to say, oh, you know what? I'm really sorry for for what happened, but there's nothing that we can do. And more often than not, that's what you'll hear. So you'll want to be able to ask these questions. Has the company helped pay some of the repair costs? Maybe some of the finance charges. Maybe they've been able to defer certain expenses. And why I bring these up is because we've done each and every one of those things for our customers. Now, we don't like to make that, a habitual thing. We don't want to turn that into a problem, but it's very important that the people that you work with, they treat you humanely. So, if you do fall on your luck, that they're there to help you out. They're there to at least try to assist you. At the very least, give you a word of advice that will hopefully help you out. So the next thing that you'll want to do is you'll actually want to meet with that carrier, with the team working at that trucking company. So whenever possible, consider visiting a carrier's terminal or headquarters to get a feel for their operation and meet the team in person. I'll tell you guys a story. A few months back, we had a carrier stop by, and I really liked this comment because it was interesting. Right before leaving, I said, can I use your restroom? Walked in a restroom, did his business, comes right out and says, you know what? Now I'm absolutely convinced that you guys are who you say you are, because you can really tell a lot by the cleanliness of a bathroom and how the business is run. A crappy bathroom is a crappy business. So I really like that, and I think there might be some truth to that. So as mentioned, you want to consider visiting the carrier's terminal or the headquarters and get a really good feel for the team, the person you're dealing with. You get your spidey senses. Make sure you have a good feeling about the people you're going to be working with. You don't want to feel like there's any sort of bad vibes or some sort of animosity going in any direction, because you are going to, at the end of the day, have to work with these folks, right? So it's very, very important that you like each other. A personal connection can provide invaluable insights into the company's culture and a level of support that you can expect as a lease-on partner. So again, it comes down to the point that if they're only there to see you as a number, someone who is just earning them income, then, speaking for myself, I probably wouldn't join that organization. You want to feel like you're a part of the family. One of the things that we do, we have drivers swing by, and if we're having lunch, hey, we get it for everybody. We sit down like one big family in a lunchroom. We all have to lunch together. If you stop by the office, you're a guest. We certainly appreciate you stopping by. But again, these things are normal to us, but they're certainly not normal for most companies. And, it's the little things that count. So the final step in all of this, step 7, everybody likes the 7 steps, right? So the 7th step would be making your decision. Make up your mind, right, about what you're going to be doing. Is it going to be company A, company B, or company C? Have you asked all your questions? Have you settled any disputes, any misunderstandings, anything that was unclear? Are you able to make an educated decision at this point? So once you've actually gathered all the necessary information, and as mentioned, your questions have been answered, it's time for you to make a decision. And what you really want to do is select a lease-on opportunity that aligns best with your goals, your priorities, and as well as your long-term success of your trucking business. You want to make sure that you position yourself in such a way that you have the opportunity to expand if you need to. You have the room to possibly get into a different piece of equipment if the market changes. You want to be able to put yourself in a position where you actually feel like, hey, you know what? I can work here for the next 10 years. I can work here for the next 20 years. If I'm continue to be treated the way that I am treated, I have no reason to go anywhere else. If you get that sensation, if that's the feeling that you get, then it's probably a good choice. So there you have it, truckers. Lease on, finding the perfect fit fit for your trucking business. It's something that, remember, you have to assess your needs. It's something that you absolutely cannot just jump on. I've seen this happen quite often where people just make a very quick decision. We'll speak one day, the next day they're leasing on with another company. Well, the truth is that oftentimes a little bit of time passes by. I speak with them, I get a little bit of feedback. How are things going? And what you often hear, unfortunately, is that things were not as they were promised. And this is partly to blame for the individuals signing on because they didn't do their due diligence. They didn't spend the time. They didn't even consider their own goals, their own needs, their own aspirations. And ultimately, it becomes a random act. And if you get lucky, then great. But more often than not, that's not what happens. So it's super, super important to assess your needs and research the programs and make an actual informed decision that sets you up for success rather than failure. Because, not only will you feel like a failure, you will most likely lose money. You will position yourself in a very bad financial position. And, even in your mental space, it doesn't feel good to lose. And so if that's happened before, make sure you've learned your lessons from those experiences. And if this is the first time you're leasing on with someone, do your due diligence. Take care of the things that are mentioned in this video, and you will generally have a much better experience. Ultimately, we wish you the very best in your lease-on journey, in your trucking career, in your trucking business. We really do wish for you to do very, very well. And, if you do decide to lease on, I would certainly hope that A2C Logistics would be on your list of one of the companies that you would be researching, calling, contacting, asking questions. We're definitely the very top in terms of a quality. So if you find some other quality companies, definitely compare them. Give us a call if you have specific questions. We are here for you. We will answer all of your questions. Now, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more valuable insights on the trucking industry. Let us know in the comments which topic you'd like us to cover next. And of course, safe travels out there. Until next time, keep on trucking.